Hello. So I just wanted to give a quick update. Yesterday I had my pre-op appointment, which involved a blood draw and an EKG, and that was super easy. And then later on, yesterday afternoon, I had my MRI, which was very fascinating. It was on my belly, and it was with contrast, and I hadn't had the contrast before, and so I was that was a little nerve-wracking because there are some things that I am allergic to, and so it was a little anxiety producing, not knowing if I was going to be allergic to this. But then once I realized that I wasn't allergic to it, it was not a problem. I'm not claustrophobic, and they put you in feet first, which was very helpful. It was face down, which was uncomfortable for me because I don't even sleep on my belly. And at one point I had to tell them that this was uncomfortable because it was like the way the thing that they have you lay on was pressing on my stomach, and the xiphoid process down at the bottom and the bottom of the sternum, and I was not going to be able to make it for 30 minutes that way. There was no way. So I had them pull me back out. They gave me a little cushion, and that was helpful. So then it was just, and then they give you music. They asked me which music that I wanted to listen to, and I was going to ask for 80s, but then they said easy listening's on, and I was like, well, easy listening's fine. And then but then when they were pulling me in the tube, it disconnected, so I didn't get any music. I just got to hear an awful lot of the machine, which was okay because there was only one time where the sound was uncomfortable for me. It was very repetitive. It was a specific repetitive sound. A lot of it was repetitive, but there was one specific repetitive sound that I didn't like very much, but that's all right. And the rest of it kind of sounded like a cheesy 50s, 60s sci-fi movie. So, and I love sci-fi. So that kind of gave me a giggle of imagining myself in some sort of life support pod descending through the atmosphere. It was kind of fun to play. But then a friend of mine who I absolutely adore, Zoe, she had Marco Polo'd me the day before yesterday, and she talked about being in an MRI, and she doesn't like them very much, which, I mean, it's honestly, there's more fun things than that. And she said that when she was in the MRI, she prayed, and I'm listening to this on Marco Polo. And so as soon as she said that, I instantly thought, oh, she was praying that the Lord would help her through it. It was almost like she read my mind in the future, because by the time I listened to it, she had already recorded it. Like, it had already been recorded for 24 hours. She's like, well, I wasn't praying for myself. I was praying for everybody who I could think of. I was praying for other people, and if they came to my mind, I thought of them. And I thought that was precious and dear. And so when I was in the MRI machine, that's what I did too. I started going through all the people that I can think of that I could pray for. And then just now I'm realizing I missed a couple, but I did my best. And so it was beautiful, and it was pleasant, and I loved hanging out with the Lord, and it was neat. It also taught me a couple of things, that being in the MRI. So it was nerve-wracking at first. After a while, it wasn't nerve-wracking, but at the very beginning, it was a little nerve-wracking. And so the tendency to get anxious about that was strong with this one. But the Lord has also, through the years, taught me how to control fears and anxieties. And so I got to put that into practice. And again, and I want to emphasize this for anybody who is fearful of things, practice doing what you're afraid of. Like, you don't have to go bungee jumping. You don't have to, put your arm in a shark's mouth or anything like that. But just if there's little things that you kind of dread, little things that kind of give you an irritation in your tummy, or little thing, maybe even big things that you need to face, little things to us, but big things to you, face them, do them. And you'll realize, oh wait, I can control this. This is a physiological response born about by my thought pattern. If I change my thoughts, I can change my physiology, and I can keep from being panicked or anxious or frightened. But even if you have a sense of dread, then when you trust the Lord, and I'm going to give you a hint. So this is actual biology. Is that the amygdala is the fear center of the brain? It's in your brain. The act of trusting actually inhibits the amygdala. So the more you trust, the less you fear, which is, for example, why you're not afraid to brush your teeth. Who's afraid of brushing their teeth? You just brush your teeth. There's nothing to be afraid of. If you were holding a tarantula, I'm not afraid of tarantulas, but some people are. If you're holding a tarantula, that's something to be afraid of, even though it's probably as safe as brushing your teeth. You know, the tarantulas are very docile, they're not going to hurt you, but you might react with fear, even though it's no more risk than brushing your teeth. So the thing is, because you trust the act of brushing your teeth, you're not afraid. Because you don't trust holding a tarantula, you are afraid. So I recommend that when you have, okay, so practice trusting, practice doing, and understand that when the Lord says, I think he says like 365 times in the Bible, do not be afraid. It's as much a biology textbook at that point as it is a spiritual textbook at that point. It's actually both, because the Lord created us, he created our amygdala, and he also created the fact that trust will inhibit it. Like, that's his doing. So when he says don't be afraid, he's not trying to make you like fly. You know, he's not asking you to do something. He's not asking us to do something we can't do. He built that into us. Our ability to control fear, it takes practice. It's not something that's instant. I mean, I suppose it could be. The Lord could give you an amazing measure of grace so that you're not afraid, which I think he's done for this with me for cancer, because I just don't have any fear of it. Now, I tell you the truth, I did not want to really, I was, like I said, I was concerned about the contrast. I wasn't concerned about the MRI. So it did, that was anxiety producing in me to have the contrast and not know, am I going to react to this? And then again, like I said, when I didn't react to it, I was like, nah, okay, I'll just lay here. Honestly, at that point, if I had been on my back instead of my stomach, I would have fallen asleep. Like like my eyes were closed. And so I could have just easily fallen asleep, even though it was loud, but that's okay. So I want to, okay, so this is like the 8th time, maybe 9th time I've tried to record this. So I'm going to try to make this brief so that I can hit upload and upload this to YouTube. So I'm going to leave you with this. The Lord tells us not to be afraid. There are going to be times that we are afraid, and he has made allowances for that. Like, he's given us a sense of fear so that we don't do stupid things like put our hands in a shark's mouth. But for the things that we do not need to be afraid of. Oh, let me say one more thing. So a human is only born with 2 innate fears. All of us only have 2 fears that we were born with: the fear of noises and the fear of falling, or the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. So if you are afraid of anything that's not one of those 2, you have the ability to not be afraid of it. That doesn't mean you love it. Like, there's a lot of things I'm not afraid of that I really just don't want to happen. That's okay. There's a difference between dread and fear. There's a difference between, I recognize that this would be a horrible thing to go through, versus I'm anxious about it. So you can get rid of your anxiety. We can get not preaching at you, but saying global. We can get rid of our anxiety. We can mitigate our fear with trusting the Lord in everything, and he is faithful, and he will walk you through it. He will teach you how. If you have any questions about that, let me know. So I'm going to stop here because I'm ready to go home. I don't have the genetic testing results back. I do have the MRI, and sure enough, I've got cancer. But they didn't find anything in the lymph nodes, so that was fabulous. When they do the surgery, they will, I think they'll take a couple of the lymph nodes out just to make extra sure, which I want them to do. So that will be, I'm hoping that'll be a quick recovery. I mean, I think it'll be okay. I think I can do it. I think I can do a quick recovery. We'll see. If not, then, I mean, I get to lay on the couch and watch K-dramas, which isn't the worst thing ever either. So one thing that I want to leave you with, one thing that I want to say, thank you. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for caring about me this much. Thank you for wanting to keep up to date with my health. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for every time you hit like I'm not asking for likes. I will be lying if I said it wasn't neat to see if there is a like or if there's a comment. A comment is like gold. And to that end, I don't want it to be gold for me. What I want is for this to be about the Lord and to be about you, and at the bottom to be about me. So if there is any way that I can pray for you, if there's anything that I can do for you, if there's any question you have, please let me know. You can post it in the comments. You can send me a private message, whatever it is. How can I pray for you? Or if there's something, sometimes every once in a while, there's something that goes on in my life that's either I'm trying to puzzle out, or that's exciting, or something that I can't really tell anybody around in my circle yet, or I don't feel like telling somebody, but I want to tell somebody, but I don't have to tell anybody in my circle for whatever reason. Feel free to let me know. I'd be happy if you wanted to tell me about what you had for breakfast. I would love to hear it, and I would love to pray for you, and I would love to rejoice in in the way the Lord has created you and the things that the Lord has given you, and also come beside you if there's stress or sorrow in your life. I'd love to do that. So I'm going to let you go for now. I love you, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.